One of my favorite games is Pillars of Eternity 2. Now, in the minds of many, the fact that I'm a 48-year-old man that plays games is probably, people probably look down on that, which is fine. There's a part of me that would agree with them. But, I've been playing games since I was a kid. I got original Nintendo with paper route money. Can't remember exactly. I think I was like 12 or something like that. And I've been a gamer to varying degrees. I mean, when I was in the Army, I wasn't much of a gamer, obviously. But it's basically just like something to spend time on. I don't have a 9-to-5 job anymore. I'm basically semi-retired. Unemployable due to civilian world not thinking that the military applies. Military experience doesn't apply to them and all this stuff. And various other issues. But anyway, basically semi-retired. Really, I'm retired. That's it. I say semi because I'm not 65, but I'm not really semi-retired. I'm completely retired. Anyway, total tangent there. So as we're talking about Pillars of Eternity 2, which is one of my favorite. Wow, look at this chick. Woo! Yikes! These women walking around naked out here. Anyway, just, like, what in the world? It's like, I don't think women should be walking around naked. But, I mean, I'm a guy, I'm still a guy even though I'm 48. Still got certain hormones. Or not as many as I used to, but I still got some. I mean, geez Louise, folks. Not sure some of these outfits should be legal. But anyway, this has got to be the worst video. I mean, I have said nothing about the topic of the video. And I just started off with some, negative bullshit. I just started out with some negative bullshit about how I'm unemployable and stuff. and then I said some shit about women that, everyone's gonna hate. I know the way this society has become, and it's like, I'm gonna be the biggest monster on the planet because I noticed that somebody's literally fucking walking down the street naked with it. I'm not supposed to notice that. Oh shit, you gotta just laugh at this shit, And then there's the other level of humor that it doesn't even matter because no one's ever gonna see this. That's why I don't care, I don't make a thumbnail or anything. It's like, who gives a shit? I'm just doing this for fun. It entertains me on my drives. That's another thing. Could be people upset that I'm not paying attention to the road, but I am paying attention to the road. If you look, I got the camera on me, but I'm not looking at the camera. I might glance at it, but you glance around when you're driving anyway. I don't think it's affecting my driving at all. But yeah. So I guess I'm in a good mood, man. I can't stop laughing. It's just funny. It's just funny how sideways this video went. It's perfect. Should I even try to get back on track and just cancel this video? I don't know. But again, who cares, Nobody's even going to watch this. But so Pillars of Eternity 2. What do you guys think of my beard? If you see this, can you just tell me if you like my beard? Because that would make me feel good. Because I feel like there aren't many things in the world that I'm that proud of anymore. But I'm actually pretty proud of my beard. I think I got a pretty nice beard. There's no there's no gaps in it. A lot of people have gaps right here, and people have like splotches all over the place. I got a nice full beard. I enjoy it. But anyway, now my hairline, my hairline is like as bad as it gets. I really should just shave my head, but really, honestly, the only reason I don't shave my head is because I have this like thing. I have this like in right around like what do you call that swirl? I don't even know if there's a name for that, but that where you have like the swirl. I have like a dent in my head because I discovered it when I would shave my head kind of in the Army sometimes. Like obviously a lot of times you do like high and tight, but I would sometimes just do like a shaved head, and people alerted me to the fact, and then obviously I looked and saw it in the mirror, that I have like this dent in my head that causes, like when I have a shaved head, they can't get into the dent. So it's like my whole head is shaved, but then there's like this little line of like hair that's in the dent that they can't get to with the clippers. And so that makes me self-conscious about shaving my head. I've thought about like possible solutions, like maybe I'd have to like wax that spot while the hair was still long enough and then shave the rest of the head or something. But it's just like, anyway, that's the main reason why I don't really shave my head. Because if you look at this hairline, I mean, look at this. I absolutely should shave it. And right now, just to be silly, I normally like will let the hair fall so that it covers some of my baldness. You know, that's the logical thing to do. But for the last couple of weeks, just to be silly, I've just been like combing my hair straight back, so you can just see like how awful the hairline is. But really, who gives a shit, you know? It's not like I'm going to be asked on a date anytime soon, you know? And I'm married, and I'm hardcore, you know, into morality and fidelity and stuff. That's not even an issue. So really, there's like multiple different layers of reasons why I could give two shits when anyone thinks about my appearance. It's just like, how bad can you make the video? There's like belch in the middle of the video. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Pillars of Eternity. Yes. Let's see if I can get this thing to sit in a way that I don't have to hold it. I'm sure that's going to work out. So Pillars of Eternity. I like the game. I thought maybe I'd have more to say than that. But, so I like role-playing games. But there are different kinds of people that like role-playing games. Like, I like the grind, and I like combat. Like, and some people hate that. Like, some people will play a game like Pillars of Eternity 2 on story mode because they don't want to have anything to do with the combat system and the character development system and stuff. They actually like the story, and, you know, they'll judge the game based on how good the story is. So, me, I'm not... Holy shit. That definitely... That is just perfect for this video, man. This is a classic. This is going to be the best video in my mind I've ever made, but it's actually the worst. Shit, I really thought it would just sit there like that. Okay, I guess I'm holding it. Anyway, so some people like the story. Anyway, I don't care about the story. I don't even know what the story is. I just like... I like coming up with different character builds. I like coming up with different, like, you know, party compositions. And the thing I like about this is where I diverge even again, because some people that do like the combat would think that what I do is blasphemous, because I've seen posts of people claiming this, that I really like to just, so you can have 5 dudes in your party, right? And for me, it's more immersive to be just one guy, because I am just one guy. Like, I'm not 5 different guys, so that immediately like breaks immersion for me. And plus, honestly, I'm just not that interested in controlling 5 guys in every fight. Maybe like in a one-time like ultimate battle requiring all kinds of strategy and shit, I'd control all 5 guys. But it's like 90% of the battles in these games, you're just rolling over people. Mostly based on the equipment that you selected and the character builds and stuff. So I like the fact that this particular game allows you to set up your own custom party, your own custom AIs for companions. So I essentially, in most fights with like minor tweaks, so basically it's probably like 3 categories of fights. There's basically the trash fight where I only control my guy. The other guys, I enjoy setting up like really good scripts. I'll sit there in that script editor and really try to come up with a good script. And in like, 70% of the fights maybe, I only have to control my own character. Then there's the next level up, which is like, there's certain little things I might have to do. But, little tweaks, because there's just certain things that you really can't program into the script editor. Like, my monk, his job, he's so fast and stuff, and he actually benefits from taking damage, so it's okay if he takes a disengagement here and there. So his job is to protect the back line. Like, he'll run back. If somebody jumps the line and gets into my back line, then it's his job to go run back there and clean up the situation. And so that's something that I have to manually click on him and tell him to do. And other little things, like I have to tell my squishies sometimes, because the script doesn't have the power to really use the escape. Because, if you never played the game, you're not going to understand. But if you have played the game, you're going to understand what I'm saying. You can't script the escape. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe someone smarter than me did it. But I can't really script the escape abilities. So that's another thing. Like, if the fight's a little bit harder than normal, I'll have to use the escapes of the squishies. And then, of course, there's the highest level, which is like a real serious fight that I could actually lose and might even have to, do multiple attempts to win. And that one, the script's still on, and like mundane tasks are still handled by the party members, but there's maybe quite a bit of intervention that I have to do. So, yeah, but the game is just like so fun. I mean, there's multi-classing, which there's just so many different combinations. Like, I really feel like this game didn't get its due, because it's like the combat system and the character system, like the classic system and the level up system, it's all like just really great and complex. And it's like they really did a different thing with the attributes. If you're like used to most role-playing games, which are mostly influenced by D&D ultimately, it's going to be counterintuitive, because from a realistic standpoint, the way that Pillars of Eternity 2 did some stats, it doesn't really make any sense from a realism standpoint, but it makes great sense from a gameplay standpoint. It makes the game a lot richer. So what the hell am I talking about? What I'm basically talking about is that every stat, or not every stat, they call them attributes because stat means something else. Every attribute matters for every class. It's not like the old D&D system where like literally intellect did nothing for a fighter or a barbarian. It was just automatic. You just lowered your intellect to nothing. You can't do that in this game. Intellect impacts everybody's abilities. Like, it impacts the duration of everybody's abilities. Like, a barbarian has frenzy, and how long his frenzy lasts depends on his intelligence. And he only gets so many resources to keep casting frenzy. So if he has no intelligence and his frenzy's only lasting like 5 seconds, then it's going to be a serious detriment. And then, it's basically the same for every class. Now, of course, intellect is more important for a wizard or another, a priest or another magic class. I guess arguably, some people would argue it's maybe more important or equally important for martial classes, but you get my point. It's like, it's a very complex system where you have to make some real, decisions on what you're going to do with attributes, because it's not just the simple, okay, my guy's a fighter, so I'm dumping intelligence, or my guy's a wizard, so I'm jumping might, because might, and this is where I'm talking about, it doesn't make really a lot of sense from a realism standpoint, but it makes great sense from a gameplay standpoint, is that might controls damage regardless of whether it's physical damage or magic. So a wizard's damage is not controlled by intelligence. The area of effect size and the duration is controlled by intelligence, but the actual damage is controlled by might, which that makes no sense. How would a wizard lifting weights make his magic stronger? It wouldn't. But they made this decision of like reality versus what makes for a better game, and they went with what makes for a better game. And so it works both ways, where it's like on the one hand, it's kind of hard to screw up. Like if you just don't dump any stat, like I think the even distribution is like you'd be a 13 in every stat. And if you literally just did that, you just put like a 13 in everything, you really wouldn't be gimping your character. Like your character would be good. He just might not be like optimized for one particular role. That's the only thing. But he actually be pretty good at any role, you know, because I'm trying to think of like what role would that make him not as good at. And it would obviously make him not as good as a specialized, like say DPS. So the three DPS attributes basically are might, dex, and perception. And so though you basically want to max all three of those if you really wanted somebody to be a maximum DPS person. But if you did do that, the person would almost certainly have to be ranged, you know, if you were playing on the highest difficulty anyway, which is I exclusively do. In order to be able to max all three of those, then the guy almost certainly would have to be ranged, because you'd have to dump Constitution and Resolve to a certain extent at least, and probably very much so. So he'd probably have to be ranged, but this 13, so this 13 of everything wouldn't be quite as specialized in DPS as that person, but his DPS wouldn't be bad. I mean, because you've invested 9 points into DPS stats. I mean, you put 3 into Dex, you put 3 into Perception, you put 3 into Might. So, I mean, there's a character that I could think of that maybe I would just put all 13s, like a Paladin. I have like a pretty decent Paladin. Like if the intention, it all comes down to like what your intention is for the character. If the intention of this might be like a swing character, like he's not the tank, because if he was the tank, you'd want him to have more resolve and more constitution. And he's not the DPS guy, but he's like a swing guy, which is a pretty good role for a paladin, because paladins are kind of good at being good at a variety of things. So I mean that's a viable character right there, you know? And that's the fact that they achieved that is a pretty big achievement, because I think that's like something that people have wanted to achieve in role-playing games a lot, is to make it so that you can't really screw up a character. I mean, I guess you could if you really tried, but you'd really have to try. Like you could make a fighter. A guy was just talking about this on the forum. You could make a fighter that maxed intellect, and he'd be pretty good at certain things. Like in a certain way, a certain role that you've carved out for him, he would be that would be the best fighter for that role, you know? I mean, this guy was even arguing that could be the best fighter, period. I'm not sure about that. But you know, if that's what you wanted your fighter to do, he'd be very good at it. You know? And vice versa. I mean, it's not even controversial to say that you could make a good wizard with might. If you to you as just a D&D person, it would be. But to somebody who's used to Pillars of Eternity, making a max might wizard, that's pretty normal. If basically you're going to focus on just nuke spells, and you're not really worried about how quickly he does it, because His resources are limited, so you just basically want to hit with as much damage per nuke as possible. So anyway, I'm at the daycare now, picking my kid up. So we'll pick this up. This will be an ongoing thing. This is a long discussion, too long for one video. So, and it's gonna be rambling. There's no plan, no script. We're just gonna be rambling about Pillars of Eternity. So that's video 1 of rambling about Pillars of Eternity 2.